one here. Whew, and not a crappie though. Nice bluegill though. At least we didn't get skunked out here today. We're out here coming in on the end of April, so we're kind of looking for some late spawn crappie here, but coming up on a full moon, so I guess we got these bluegill getting back up in here, getting ready to spawn a little bit. Be tempted to keep him and take him home. I felt like I could get a few more, but I doubt it. Seriously. Been fishing that spot for a while, and that's the first little bite I got. Just using a little old bitty, probably about a 1/40th of an ounce or smaller feather. Jigs. Got a little chicken feather on it. It's a little yellow color. Don't look like much there, but a little kind of a tiny little jig, and that little bluegill locked it. Let's throw him back right there. Throw back out there and see if we might have a crappie out there right now. Should be a few little, what I'd call late spawn crappie out there. We've had kind of a, I'd say sort of a below normal temperatures here. So I'm hoping maybe it's kind of keeping the spawn down, you know, delaying the spawn a little bit, giving us a little bit of a late window of opportunity here, but you just never know. But I would think if there's anything going on, there'd be a few right in here. This is deep enough, coming back up into shallow water with plenty of cover. Got a lot of gar out there today, and I don't know how them gar really affect the crappie. They may not want to be up in here with all these gar that are hanging out up in here today. We got a crappie right here, folks. I believe we got a good crappie too. If we can keep him on out of that stick right there. Stay out of there, boy. I had a feeling there might be some down in there. We got him if I can get down here and get him though. 4-pound test. Yeah, we got him here. Whew, that's a keeper too. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, that's a keeper. Look at that. Got him on that little bitty hair jig. That's, folks, that right there. Get my camera down here. Friends, that right there is a little bitty old school chicken feather hair jig. That's probably a 40-year-old hair jig right there. You don't need modern technology to catch crappie. I had a feeling there should be some back in there. This one looks like he might be spawned out. Looks like a male, but you know, they don't show any real signs of having been in a bed or anything. So the wind was kind of blowing and got my floating jig blown back over to the right, pretty far over, close to this dock over here, and that's where I caught that one. So just really slow. We're going to focus again right over here. Just really slow. Just let it sit there and bring it back every once in a while and hope there's some laying around in there. There's a little bit of cover. You got this dock here, 5 or 6 feet of water out there. There's a little bit of a old log or something sticking up right there. So we got decent conditions for them, just like, you know, you think, well, they should be out there. There you go, they were out there. And whether I can get another one out of there, I don't know. But we got a fair amount of light here before dark, coming up on this full moon here. I think we got a shot to catch 1 or 2 more. Gonna keep working it right here and just see. Trick is getting it up in there next to that little dock right there. Kind of throwing it out there beyond it. The wind was kind of in my favor. Now the wind's kind of died down. I got a feeling there should be a couple more of them laying out there. If you got one out there, you're going to have another one. That's a decent sized one too. So there's going to be a few more out there. We just got to get this little chicken feather jig in front of them here. Or we might have to go over to something else right there maybe. But I've always had good luck on these little chicken feather jigs. They like a little chicken feather. Not a lot of people talk about the chicken feathers. Talk about hair jigs, feather jigs. Chicken feathers have a little different characteristic to them in the water. They'll kind of puff out and seem more kind of, to me, lifelike in the water than some of the other feathers will. Beautiful evening here. About 70 degrees this afternoon. A lot of sunshine. Alright, I lost that one chicken feather jig. We got another one here. I think this is my last one. Here it is before it gets wet. If you can see it there, this one's got a little red thread, and I guess it had a yellow head, but the paint's kind of gone after all these years. But we're going to throw back out here again and see if we might not be able to pick up at least one or two more crappie right here before dark. I'd like to get something on the stringer. One more on a stringer. So we're just going to fling it out here. Keep easing her back really slow. Through this one little spot where I caught that one. It's kind of throwing out beyond the area where I caught him. Now we got the wind kind of messing us up here. Trying to blow my line back into that that stick sticking up out of the water, that little log right there, but that's all right. We'll come on this side of it here. We got kind of what you call a rattle float on here. It's weighted, so there are some people that like to give that little float a little jig and rattle them little BBs in there to see if it'll get the crappie's attention. So he'll look up that way and see that little jig and then come up there and hit it. I don't know how much that works. They got pretty good eyesight, so you get something moving in front of them and they don't need, uh-oh, what in the world was that? Something came up out of the water over there. That had to be a big old carp. That's big, whatever that was. Coming up out of the water over there. Good Lord. That looked big enough to be a human. That time of year. Saw some big old gar back in here earlier. Big old gar. Okay, there's a gar right there underneath my float. I don't know, is that a gar? Yeah, that's a gar right there. See him going right there. Right up under my float. That little sucker. Trying to mess my crappie fishing up here today. Got one, got another one right here. Boy, I hope it's a keeper. I think it might be. It's gonna be close. Boy, he came up there and smacked the fire out of it right there. And he's gonna be close. Let's get him measured up here and we'll see what we got. I don't think he's gonna make it, unfortunately. Maybe we got him moving in here at dark. So we do have some back in here. Yeah, he's gonna be short. He's about a quarter of an inch short. That's all right. Hey, maybe we got him moving in here at dark. Sun's going down. We're right here close to a full moon, so maybe we can get on him here a little bit. Let's turn him loose. Oh, right here we got one on the stringer down there. Get him turned loose. See you, little buddy. There he goes. Hopefully he don't go back out and scare the herd. Again, we're just using this little hair jig. Little old tiny jig. It's actually a feather jig. A tiny old school chicken feather jig, probably 30, 40 years old. About a 1/40th of an ounce jig head, give or take a little bit. So right now we're at the late part of what should be the spawn. Although you never know, this lake, we're on the north end of the lake, so could be that the crappie on this end of the lake don't really get back up in here and spawn until a little bit later, you know, maybe late April into early May, possibly, since we've had a little bit of cooler temperatures. Now them crappie, obviously they weren't full of eggs. If they, you know, could have been males, but they, to me, look like maybe they were spawned out a little bit. So we could be in a post spawn, but you know, the water right back in here is maybe favorable enough to where, you know, even during the post spawn, they still are going to hang out here a little bit without immediately going right back out to, you know, really deeper water or whatever. Late spawn crappie on a jig and bobber. Now this cast, we're going to see if we can kind of ease it back. Right in through there is a little deeper water, I believe, at the mouth of this little boat skip, whatever this little dock thingy is, this little boat skid, whatever they call them. It's going to be a little deeper right there. So there should be a crappie or two out in there, I would think. We've caught two out of here. No really signs of there being a lot of them in here. If they're in there, they're just not very aggressive towards wanting my little jig, but I just don't believe there's a lot of them in here. There's a few little, maybe a few little male stragglers hanging around trying to guard the nest or whatever. I don't know. Got one. Pulled another one out of there. This one feels like it might be a little bit bigger. Hard to tell. Yeah, he might keep. That's our third one right there, folks. I had to get this one right up in that slip. I guess that's what you call that, a slip right there. That's number 3. Let's measure him up right here. Be nice to have a second one for that stringer. Yeah, he's gonna make it, see? Yeah, he's about 10 1/4. Yeah, we'll get him on the stringer, 10 1/4. See the mouth at the very end closed, and the tip of the tail is actually, I've actually got him scrunched up a bit too, so he's good size right there. Okay, we got a little dinner right here tonight. That's 2, folks. Check that out. Gonna be 2 on the stringer right here tonight. We got two little ones on a stringer right there, folks. There we go. Right here on this late April day. Beautiful spring day here in Tennessee. Don't get no better than this.